You're doing so good.
Um, and I want my car. Like, it's hard. But that's the main things.
That's sure. You know what's so beautiful about that is that you know what you want. That's what's so beautiful about that is that you know what you want. And you can feel your energy behind what you want. You can feel the energy behind what you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love what you said. You said you want to have a better relationship with people. What kind of relationship are you having with people now?
Right now, I connect with people, but I'm not really connecting with them how I should. And a lot of times, like, it depends on who the person is and how the relationship is. Um, yeah, it really just depends on how the relationship is. Not, some is positive, some is negative. Others I wish they just stagnant. So it's yeah.
Let's take a relationship, and you don't have to tell me who it is. Let's just take one of those relationships and you wish it were a better relationship. Just go grab one of those relationships that you wish it was a better relationship and tell me when you have the person in mind.
I have them.
Okay. When you think about that relationship, what is the challenge in the relationship? What's the challenge?
Hurt.
Why are you hurting?
Some stuff I kind of put myself in based off the decisions that I chose to make. But other things, just like just years of going through the same thing over and over, and then dealing with other personal issues that come into play.
Why do you hurt? What's the thing that hurts? I'm hurt because it makes me feel like
I'm hurt because it makes me feel like I'm not really loved a lot, or like I'm not good at, like I'm not good enough for something.
you're so good. Doing so good. You're doing so good. You're doing so good, lady. And that's beautiful to be able to share that truth. And I want you to know you're not by yourself. That there's so many of us who have been in relationships and we feel that same way. So you're not by yourself. You're not by yourself.
Like I want to be able to show other, not just little girls, but other women and men, once I get past like this phase, that you can be loved even if you don't feel it. It's still love there and how to heal.
Put everybody else out the picture for now and give this attention to you. Just you. It's just you. What makes you sad about the choices? You said, I keep going, you said it keeps happening. If it keeps happening, are you accepting it back in? How does it look? What does it look like?
I feel like it looks like I accepted back in.
Why do you accept it back in?
Because that's the closest thing to love that I get or feel.
Oh, I say, what is love to you? It's okay, you're doing so good. What is love to you?
Understanding, taking the time to know someone, compassion, it's a lot of things, and a lot of things that I'm still trying to understand what love is, because I don't know. I just know those things.
I say. When was the first time in your life? I'm gonna leave this person for just a minute. We're gonna come back to that person. When was the first time in your life that you wanted love but didn't get love? And even if you're an adult now and you understand, right? Because sometimes we grow up and then we understand things and we didn't understand them when we were a child. So don't bring that understanding. We're going to travel back, but don't bring your today's understanding with you. Go back and leave today's understanding at the table. And tell me, when was the first time you remember wanting someone to show you love or wanting love and didn't get it?
It would be with my dad. I wanted, when I first found out I even had a dad, I talked to him, and then I talked to him on the phone, and then after that it was like I craved for this person that I've been wanting to know since I was young, and I didn't even know he existed. I saw him, the first time I saw him was at his wedding. He was getting married, and no, it was it was before then. I had saw him before that. He was getting married. I'm sorry, I gotta cut the light back on.
It's okay.
He was getting married, and was it that time? And I saw him, but he wasn't really showing me the love that I thought it should show, or how a dad should act towards me. And that's where it started.
I should. How was the treatment? Like when you think about how he treated you or how the treatment went, how was the treatment?
It was broken promises, and when he did see me, it was, I don't know how to explain it.
It's okay. I'm gonna take you back to this relationship that we were talking about earlier. I'm gonna leave your dad for just a minute. I want to come back to this relationship that you were talking about earlier. In that relationship, how does that person treat you?
Sometimes okay, other times it's broken promises. Very wishy-washy.
For sure. It's okay. You're doing good, baby. You're doing good. You're doing real good. No. You're doing real good. Ashe. Let's go back to you're doing good, lady. Let's go back to dad. Would you say that dad was kind of wishy-washy?
Yeah.
Would you say that dad had broken promises?
Yeah.
Did you want dad to love you? Shay, it's okay. You're doing so good. You're doing so good, lady. You're doing so good. So good. When you think about your dad and you think about this person, are they similar?
In a way, yes. They have good hearts, but in a way, yes.
That's sure. That's sure. You're doing so good. You're doing really good. Well, to go back to this relationship, not your dad, but this relationship. What do you want from it?
Peace, a future, love, understanding, and being able to be on like the same energy and frequency pattern. And it's not.
Asha, Asha. You're doing beautiful, lady. Doing beautiful. Would you say that you're in different spaces?
Yes.
Would you say that you have different ways of doing things?
Yes.
If you could say something about this person, not about this person, but if you could complete that sentence about that person, if you could, and then complete that sentence.
I don't really understand what you mean.
So think about that person and think about your relationship with that person and start a sentence. Just say a sentence. And the sentence, first couple words would be, if you could.
If I don't know.
Okay? Start the sentence with I want.
Okay. I want. Oh, give me 1 second. Janiyah, stop knocking on the door.
Okay.
What do I want? I don't know.
Come on, so he can come back. Come sit with him.
I really don't know.
Come on. You don't know what you want?
I want.
Don't try to overthink it. Just just say I want and then complete it.
I want marriage.
I said, what does marriage mean to you?
To me, is having building having a bond with someone that I believe that God sent to you, and being one with someone, and having someone to love you, protect you, to hold you. That's what it means to me. Having my right hand man beside me when good things happen, and not just having a friend beside me when things happen. I want my soulmate. That's when I think of marriage, my soulmate beside me when things like that happen. Or when I'm feeling down, I can have someone to go to other than a friend or my mom or a companion.
Tell me 6 things that you want in your husband. 6 things that make the dream husband. 6 things. I would like 10, but I'll settle for 6. What are 6 things you're looking for?
Strong.
Strong and
not just strong physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all those. That's I want someone strong.
Mentally, spiritually, and what's the other one?
Mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally.
Okay.
As far as appearance wise, someone to match me. I'm sorry. Someone to match me. Like, I want my husband to be business minded. It's honestly not much. It's just simple things, like simple little things. A husband that pays attention to the little things, like the little details about me. And I'm not spoiled, but someone to do the things or notice certain things about me that I like or would want to, I don't know. And someone to invest as well, like that too. That's the main things I could think of.
Someone to invest in you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And those are the 4 things that you can think of right now. Can't think of 6. You got 2 more in you? Or that's it? Where'd you go? Oh, there you go. Yes. My
phone, I don't know what's wrong.
It's okay. No worries. No worries. Can you push out 2 more things that you want?
2 more things.
Do you want him to be financially stable?
I want my husband, I want to be able to have fun with him. Like, go places, travel, experience new things. I want, what else? Oh, be able to fix things around the house, like a handyman, like an all-in-one.
I say. Okay, we got at least 6 things then. I didn't hear you say anything about financial stability.
That comes with the strong mindedness. Because
You didn't say nothing about financial stability.
Well, that too, yes. Because business mind is strong. Yes, that being able to be financially stable where we okay.
Okay. No struggle.
No struggle.
Okay. What about?
I don't want a husband with that mentality either.
Okay. What about wishy-washy? Do you want him to be wishy-washy?
No, I don't want a husband that's gonna be wishy-washy. I want him to, when he says something, that's exactly what he means, and he doesn't go back on his word. Like what he says is what it is, unless it's a reasonable reason to why he switched it, or if what he said was something that I might have thought wasn't exactly right. Oh, that's another thing. A husband that actually can reason and understand.
Okay. And keeps his promise.
Say that one more time. My phone. I don't know what's wrong with this thing tonight.
And keeps his promise.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we made it to 10 things. Okay.
Okay.
Now, I want to ask you some other questions. I want you to be honest. It's going to feel like I am attacking you. I am not.
That's fine.
I am not. I am right here with you the entire time. Sometimes it feels like an attack, but it is not. Stay with me, okay?
Okay.
So, you think about the person who you are describing that you want marriage from. Who are they? What are their characteristic traits? Who are they?
Handyman all in one. When it comes to fixing things or just little things in general. Not even just fixing things, cut hair, anything, literally. Very strong, handsome. Is business minded, very business minded. You want positive and negative, or just
whatever you think. And when you say strong, are you talking about strong mentally, strong spiritually, emotionally, physically? Physically. What about mentally, spiritually, and emotionally?
That's growth.
Could use some work? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Business minded.
Yes.
Okay.
Wishy-washy. Doesn't really know how to show compassion necessarily. Give me 1 second. I got everybody in the kitchen now.
It's okay.
I'll do kitchen design. What else? They have how do you say, I don't want to say poverty mindset, but it's like everything nowadays is just so scared. Like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And scared to take chances. Like staying in the house. What else? That's all I could think. He is loving. He has a good heart. He means well at times. Has a lot of his stubborn. That's about it.
All right. You're doing
Yeah.
good, lady. You're doing amazing. So my next question is, do you believe that you can help him become the things that he's not?
I do. I do.
Would that equate to I can change him?
No.
How is it different?
It's different because I feel like a lot of the times he watches me and he says it. He said it a few times. I asked him, like, why don't you support me in certain things, or why don't you know what I want to do? And his answer is, well, you jump around a lot. You're not really sure, certain about what you want to do. One minute you say you want to do this, the next minute you end up doing something totally different, or you start doing this, or you drop that and you go do something else. So I don't know if I were once, not if, but once, not even once, doing it now. As I'm healing myself and I really truly begin to heal myself, I have this mindset or this thing where I know what I'm not even gonna say I know because I honestly don't know. Can't speak for him. But I would hope that through my change, like not just me talking, but actually physically seeing it manifested, that it will begin to help him to change and to see the environment and the mindset that he has and begin to switch it. But I know that's going to take me actually really changing and not letting things get to me anymore, or not responding to certain situations how I would usually respond to them, but really seeing an actual godly, spiritual change.
So you're saying as you change, he will change?
I'm not gonna say as I change, he will change, but I will say as I change, he'll. I don't know. I gotta think about that now. If you ask me that, I don't know.
I say. When you say that you want to get married, do you want to marry someone who has the traits of being wishy-washy, who doesn't keep their promises, who has a poverty mindset, who doesn't
No.
have compassion?
Not. No.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but
Well, no, it's something to think about, right?
yeah, it really is. Because honestly, I've always, so with me and him, it's been this thing since I was 12, turning 13. And it went from us initially just talking on the phone. Close the door, Mama. Close the door, Mama. It went from us initially talking just on the phone. Then I ended up in this gym training with him, and then it went to other things, and then it went to a dream that we both had, and that's something that we both held on to for a long time, was this dream. And then different people that don't know about my situation or his situation will come to us and would say something to me pertaining to him, and it's like, okay, but how, God? How? So I held on to it, and that was all I was holding on to. But now it's like, is this the same thing that I'm supposed to be holding on to? Like, what is going on? And that's how I feel right now. Close the door, Nyla. I don't know where Daddy is. Close the door. I'm on the phone. Close the door.
Do you believe in like attracts like?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe in like attracts like?
You said, do I believe in like attracts like?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
Okay. I know I've asked it twice. I'm gonna ask it one more time.
Okay.
Do you believe like attracts like?
Yes.
When you look at your situation, the beautiful thing about the exercise that we did earlier was to show that sometimes, well, inside of us, we have things that are on autopilot. Sometimes our trauma or our pain with our parents start to going inside of us. And even when we get older, it goes inside of us and it starts to run. It starts to run, and then it starts to produce itself on the outside to give us the experience again, because of like attracts like. So inside, there's the experience with mom or dad, and in your case, we're talking about dad. Inside, there's an experience with dad that brought you the wishy-washy, the not keeping the promise, the not giving you the love as you define love. And then this is running on the inside of you. And then it also runs on until it brings it back to you in the form of someone else. So when you look at your dad and you look at your friend, do you see the similarities between the two and how they both make you feel?
Yes.
So it's like a beautiful time to go back and heal from the experience with your dad.
Yes.
So that you can heal the experience in your life. As you were saying, I think that if I change me, it will change him to some degree. That's what you were saying.
Yes.
And then you said, maybe, let me think about it. But I think it's beautiful because one or two things can happen. If you go back in and start to heal from that place with dad, one or two things are going to happen. That person is going to make the shift with you, or you're going to make the shift out.
And that's what for me, that's what I think, like, one of the biggest fears that I have right now is because I know when I shift, and it's right here that things are going to significantly change for me, and I don't want to leave the person out. So it's like, I shift, get it, and I find myself getting angry and mad and yelling and frustrated because it's like, why aren't you getting it?
So you get angry and mad at why isn't who getting it? You or him?
Me too, but him.
Yeah. Can you control anybody other than you?
No.
Okay. So how do you feel about just focusing that attention on you?
Selfish. And I don't mean that in a a blonde way, but because of my heart and how it is and the feelings that I have, I feel selfish because it's like I said, from what I want to do is I find myself even when I'm not trying to pull others along with me, and it make me feel kind of bad sometimes. Other times I'm not here. It honestly.
So this is what we're going to be doing a lot of in this class. We're going to take a lot of time to heal. We're going to take a lot of time to do assignments to reevaluate ourselves so we can get to our healing. I'm gonna talk a little bit today, only because I wanna share something with you because we're in this setting today. Normally, I would say, here's your homework, do this, and we're going to meet again next week so that you can do the work to get there. But because we're here and we're on live, I want to just share something with you. And it may help, it may not help, but only you know whether it's going to help or not. It's a beautiful thing. I have the same story. All of us are drawn to each other because to some degree we're connected. We're sharing the same story, vibration, frequency, a lot of that. I have the same story. I'm a mom, and I denied my child the right to meet his father for a very long time for reasons that I had within myself. So I have a child who's going through the same exact thing as you are going through. And it's a lot that goes on in that space. There's a lot of healing that has to take place in that space. But what is beautiful is the fact that you can see the relation between your relationship with your dad and the relationship with your friend. And it probably came, you said you were 12 years old. So it probably came in right around the time that incident was happening with your dad. Very quick. It didn't waste a lot of time.
It was like a 2-year difference, yeah. Because I was 10 with my dad, and about 2 years later, yeah, about 2-year difference.
Yeah. It came right in to give you that experience again. The devil don't have no new tricks. You ever hear that? The devil don't have no new tricks. That's real. All it does, it takes the old tricks that worked and recycle it and give it to you in a different form or a different person or a different event. The devil don't have no new tricks. So what it did was it took your pain that you were having with dad and gave it back to you in a form that's going to be there if you embrace it for the rest of your life. Because the devil don't have no new tricks. And so what happens is we will welcome things in our lives because we're familiar with it. We know it is familiar, so we embrace it even when it's pain. Even when it's pain. Even when it's not what we desire to have. We know it, it's familiar, and we embrace it. And we will hold on to things that we don't even desire. We don't even want it. We don't desire it. It doesn't look like anything that's on our list, but we'll hold on to it. And a lot of times we'll hold on to it because, especially if it comes from the abandonment energy, if we felt left by our dad or we felt left by our mom, we don't want to feel left again. So we'll hold on to it because this is better than being alone, or this is better than being left. And it's hard. It ain't easy to go and do the self-evaluation to see what posture we're holding. We are the ones who have the keys to get ourselves free. And we can keep ourselves in situations, inside of events, inside of relationships, based on those facts. But it takes us to navigate through ourselves and being honest with ourselves to see if that's what we're doing. When I said the other day I work with the strongest people on the planet, I mean that. Because it takes the strongest person on the planet to be able to look at themselves and see who they're being at any given moment. So it's time for you, for me, for all of us, not just you, Talana, you ain't by yourself. It's for all of us to look at ourselves and see what we are accepting in our lives and learn why we are accepting it in our lives and make the appropriate change so we can have a different experience in our lives. The reason you had to know the answer to does like attracts like is so you can see that you are attracting your like pain. That's why Spirit brought you the knowledge that you have. Because now it's time to become the knowledge that you have. See, like attracts like ain't just a saying, baby. It sounds good when you're talking to somebody else because you sound real smart till you got to turn that stuff on yourself. Then it becomes reality.
Yeah.
When I had to do, all of us, I had to do some internal stuff on the inside of me and look at the pain that I was accepting in my life. Look at the heartache that I was accepting in my life. Look at the people, the situations, and the things and the events that I was welcoming in my life and find out why. See, when you go to church, they say, when you want to cast out a demon, they say you got to find out what his name is, where it comes from, and who gave it permission. You ever hear that?
I've never heard that before, but
All right, hold on, stay right here. If you ever heard that, just do like this. You gotta find out what his name is, where it comes from, and who gave it permission to be there, right? That's
yeah.
the only way in the Christian faith that you could cast out a demon. What's his name? How did it get there? Where did it come from? Only way you can get that demon out is if that's what you did, right? If you knew those things, that's the only way you can get it out. So here's what you did today. You found out we found out what his name is, and it was called abandonment. Because that, or however that worked out, it was abandonment. How did it get there? By way of the relationship between mom and dad. Who is allowing it to stay there?
Myself.
There you go. Look how smart you are.
And I'm working on it with my dad. It's frustrating with him because I see him changing now, but it's still like with certain things, it's just like, Dad, why don't you know certain things, or don't you? And when
It's not about dad.
Right, it's not.
Because if dad wasn't here, you still would have to go through the healing. That work is where?
Within myself.
So when you look at the relationship you're having, are you giving it the same remedy that you're giving it with dad? So you look at dad, do you say, I want you to do this. If you could just do this, do you do the same thing over here? In this
Yes.
relationship, I want you to do this. If you could just do this.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's your mirror. But as we go on in this training, we all are, myself included. I love to relearn things and remember things. We all are. We're going to learn that it's the mirror. It's us. So when dad wasn't there, it taught you that you weren't lovable. I'm just repeating back your words, that you weren't lovable. So inside you're looking for what?
Love.
And love is a what?
A feeling.
It's also an inside job.
Yeah.
It's the inside job. Do you believe that everybody in this space has come to teach you something?
Yes.
Here's where your knowledge comes in. They came to show you how to love yourself. That's where that knowledge you got comes from. That's why you got the knowledge. Now it's time to apply it. It came to show you how to love you. See, once you love you, the outside is a reflection of that, according to your knowledge. Like attracts like. So if like attracts like, who's missing this on the inside?
Myself.
Do you believe in as within, so without?
I am starting to now. I definitely am. As I've been reading, I'm starting to see. Even with synchronicity, that's been happening with me a lot. As within is starting to become without, literally.
I say. So as within, so without. Our Father who art in heaven, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. As above, so below. As within, so without. So if your knowledge is as within, so without, then your outside is your reflection of your
my phone breaking up again. Hold on. I don't know why it keeps doing this. Say that one more time.
As you look on the outside, you get to see what's on the inside. As within, so without. As above, so below. So we'll keep doing this. We'll keep doing this. This is all about healing you. I always say this to people. There's a couple of things I say, but whenever I see people pop up in my life, I know they're coming to teach me something. They are my reflection. I don't get upset with people. I don't get mad at people when you guys come in here. You don't see me get upset. People do some crazy stuff. I just go, what is that here to teach me? What am I to learn from this? It's never about the other person. It's always about me. As within, so without. I am my tribe. I am my surroundings. As within, so without. Like attracts like. If I'm chaotic and crazy, I'm going to attract chaotic and crazy to my life. If I'm peaceful, I'm going to attract peacefulness. If I look at my life and there's chaos, I don't go look at them and say, y'all need to fix that. I look at me. And I start saying, I need to fix me. I gotta go inside and figure out what has happened that made me feel this way, because this feeling, this event is still living inside of me and creating chaos on the outside. And I gotta fix that, because I'm not gonna be living like that. So I go inside me and I fix me. I go to the kingdom of heaven, which is within where?
Me.
Me. Yeah. Has nothing to do with anybody else around me. So then I go back and I look at your notes and I say, if this were me, I'd be saying, I need to stop being wishy-washy. When I say something, I need to do it and I need to be concise with it. Because I'm a little too wishy-washy right now. And I don't always do exactly what I say I'm going to do. And I need to work on that. Because I don't do what I say I'm going to do. I need to work on that because it's irritating me. How I know it's irritating me? Because when I see it, it's irritating me.
Okay.
And I need to invest in myself. I need to invest in myself and pay myself some attention. That's what I need to do. And work on my financial stability. That sound right to you?
No, that sums it up. That definitely sums it up. Because I'm not going to lie, I can be very wishy-washy, especially when it comes to certain people, and I just don't feel like being bothered. I can become wishy-washy. And I do need to work on my financial stability, and being able to secure myself.
I say. You did excellent today, lady. You did excellent. So I have some master life coaches in the building. I'm going to show y'all what this looks like. Janice is here. Wendy is here. I don't know if they're going to be able to do it. Kathy and I have spent a lot of time together. She may participate. Mary definitely has spent a lot of time with me on one-on-one sessions. Let me show you what the healing circle looks like, and I'll go first. I don't know if Wendy can go. I don't know if Janice can go, but if Wendy or Janice can't go, then I'll hit Mary. Here's what this looks like. Wow, I could so relate to your story. I can relate to what you're going through. I've been through the exact same thing, except for me, I was trying to fix somebody. I knew I could fix him. Honey, I was going to fix that man, and I didn't do nothing else. I was going to fix him, and he was going to be what I wanted him to be. That's where I was at with it. Mine went to the 10th degree. Yours was a little bit. Mine was, I'm going to fix this man. I remember being in that space, and I remember being in the space where my description of what I wanted did not match what I was accepting. I was there. I have been in that space. I could relate to that space. I can so relate to that. I can relate to that. And you know, I know where all of mine come from. I've done a lot of healing with my mom. I've done a lot of healing with my dad, because I know that a lot of this stuff came from those spaces, and I took the time to heal from those spaces. And it's really good because I'm not in that same space to the degree I was a long time ago. So I've experienced a lot of the healing from that space. But I remember that space a lot. I can relate, sis. You're not by yourself. And that's me. So I don't know if Wendy or Mama J wants to come up and share how you can relate.
Hello, this is Mama J.
Hi, Mama J.
Hi, how's everybody tonight? So I've been listening to you ladies pretty much all evening, and it's like just like my story is being told over and over again. I can hear the same story that I was telling a year ago, and I'm just thankful to Dr. New and to this tribe. I no longer live in that story, as I was the fix. I would find a broken man thinking I could fix him, but he was just too broken. So I go find another one that's broken and thinking I could fix him, but he was too broken. So I find another one, and it's like that's how my life just kept going. And I came from a long line of broken men. Dad was a broken man, and so I was taught that you just stay and you try to work it out, do the best you can. But through this last year, I have been taught that I don't have to fix anybody. The only person, and I can't fix anybody, the only person that I can actually fix is myself. And so I've been doing the work for the last year, and I've made tremendous progress, and I'm continuing to grow every day. Every day I meet a challenge and try to learn how to deal with it in a positive way and not deal with it emotionally, but to deal with it mentally and for lack of a better word, to man up to it instead of just cow down and just like, well, I'm emotional and this is the way I've always done it. That doesn't mean that was always right. So still learning, even though I've been with her every day for the last year and taking every class that she's offered, and currently am in classes. So it takes a lot to unlearn what we've learned that didn't work, and it just takes a lot to unlearn that and replace it with new information that does work. So, Ashe.
Ashe. Ashe. Wendy Wen. Thank you, Mama J. Wendy Wen. I don't know if Wendy can talk or not.
No, I can't. I'm in a car with some people.
Okay. All right, Love Muffin.
All right.
All right, so I'm gonna have Mary unmute herself, but I want to say this first. For everyone who is here, Wendy Wen and Mama J are life coaches. They are master life coaches. So these are beautiful people to connect with whenever you need to have someone to take you through this process. They can do that and get you to your safe space, or watch you get to your safe space. So they're beautiful to connect with, friend with, and spend some time with. Okay, go ahead, Mary. How can you relate?
Oh, goodness gracious. Tolerance, I can relate in every aspect of your story. My life hasn't been easy. I've been living an up and down roller coaster. Since I joined this tribe, I've learned to look inside of myself and see what I value and how to value myself. And I used to always give more than 100% to the guys that I was with. And I learned that they're broken. They couldn't give me what I needed. I was always giving them what they needed, but I always took a back seat. And being in this tribe, I've learned to put myself first and not take what is thrown at me, leftovers, with being in a relationship with a man that doesn't show you the attention, doesn't give you the love and affection and the romance that you need to make a whole. It's a very touchy subject for me because I'm still going through it. I'm in the process now of releasing a relationship that I'm currently in because it has broken me to the core. So I can relate 100% with what you want is love and respect and somebody to have your back, to be financially stable. And I don't have none of those. But I desire it just like you do. But now I've learned how to bring those desires to light by being in the healing circle and learning to value myself and not put others first over me, because I need to be first. And that's what I've learned. So being here, you are in the absolute best space that you could ever be. And my voice is getting scratchy because I felt every word that you said, because you're living the life that I was living, along with your dad. No attention, the pushing away. And it does hurt. But let me tell you, once you release it, it feels amazing to know that you are worth something more than what you're thinking right now. And honey, we all love you. You have found your forever family here with this tribe, because me, I'll give you all the love I got, all of it, because this tribe means everything to me. I have found my home, and you have too. Ashe, sweetheart.
I say, I say, I say. Can anybody else relate to? Go ahead, Alicia.
Okay, I can relate to her when it's a lot of things that she said. When it comes to my dad denies me, and I'm his twin because of his wife. And he told my sister that he thought I wasn't his kid. And my sister cussed him out so bad. And it's like, he all of a sudden now want to try to supposedly want to get a relationship, but I don't want it because you abandoned me when I was little. I have days where I sit on the porch and waited for you to come for hours and you never showed. And you did that to me for years, constantly. So it's like I'm at a place in my life where I keep a distance from him because he will never understand me. I went through a real tragic situation in my life, and like for my anniversary, I posted and I talk about it to show people my growth. I'm a domestic violence survivor. And this year in March, I posted something about it, and I posted my pictures, my past pictures, and my future, and where I'm at this point. And he asked me, why do I always post something about it? I told him, first of all, I'm going to post it twice a year. Once for my anniversary, also once for domestic violence awareness month, to show people that you can overcome. And then it took him over a year and a half to finally listen to me about what happened. He lives in Lancaster. He lives in Palmdale. My mom lives in Lancaster. I was in Lancaster for 6 whole months.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I was in I was out there with my mom for 6 whole months, and he lived like Palmdale to Lancaster was like Long Beach to Compton, and he never came to see me not one time, nor did he call me. And I was disfigured. My face was disfigured, and he really didn't understand like why I was feeling the way I feel. I have abandonment issues with my dad. I surely do, and I have abandonment issues dealing with other people. So sometimes I try not to get too close to people and keep up a wall so I won't get hurt. But when I have actually found my inner peace with myself, I'm able to open up a little bit more and have better relationships with people, because sometimes trust is the biggest thing with me. And it all starts from a deep root with your father, with my father. That's where it started, because I don't trust him. I couldn't, because he always lied. And like she said, like attracts like, and I've experienced that before. I have.
I say. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you. I say. We just go around the room and we share how we can relate. Some of us may not have the same exact viewpoint, but we can relate to what you are experiencing. You are not alone in what you are experiencing. Like I said, for me, I turned it into I could fix him. You didn't turn it into that, but I did. I turned it into I could fix him. And that became a major problem for me. in my relationship. And even in that space, I learned that I didn't love him. I loved what I wanted him to be. That taught me a lot. I learned that I wanted him to be what I wanted, and I wasn't honorable. I learned that I was not honorable. And that was hard for me to learn about myself. See, this stuff it runs deep. I learned that I was dishonorable because I wasn't even digging him. I was digging what I wanted him to be for me. How dishonorable is that? I was very dishonorable. And I held that man's life in dishonor. I learned that about myself. To see when you share your story or when you're going through your healing, you're not just healing you, you're healing a lot of people. You're healing a lot of people. So when we have the healing circles, this is what it looks like. We come in, we tell our stories. Now you can see, I shared with you guys, I said, sometimes we start at 6, and we don't get off till 12. Y'all heard me say that, right? But now you know why. Because sometimes it can take an hour for one person to go through theirs. And so we stay there. And then the next person comes up. And we stay there. And it's beautiful. And in this space, the bond is unreal. The bond is unreal. That's why we have that thread. You may see us texting at 12 o'clock at night. The people who up, they respond. The people who sleep, they respond in the morning. But it's your own support network. It's your own support team. You know? It's the most beautiful thing in the world. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. So, Talani, you're not by yourself. We've all had these experiences, and we've all experienced them to different degrees, and we've all learned different things from the same experience. And we all notice different things about ourselves from the same experience. There's a lot of healing that you can experience. It's a lot of healing we all can experience. You know? So thank you for being brave enough to do that walkthrough. And I hope that you took something away from it, or you got something out of it. Before we end, is there anybody here who can relate and they want to share how they can relate? If so, just unmute yourself. I see Kiki that unmuted herself. Did you mean to?
Yeah, I'm at
Kiki, yay! I say.
Hi. I can definitely relate to Talani and her story. I remember for myself.
Sorry.
I just remember myself growing up and knowing who my real dad was, seeing him every single day, except not having any type of relationship with him. Like, for instance, he would come to pick my mom up and he would see me in the front door, but wouldn't bother to get out the car to come physically speak to me or put his arms around me or tell me that he loved me or anything like that. And I mean, there was 27 of us. I mean, it's no doubt my dad was a Rolling Stone. But as I got older, I realized I realized that the way that I was being treated, he wasn't treating the other people, the other kids that way. And so then I began to really feel some type of way. And I waited my whole life for him to just tell me why. Like, what was it about me that was so different that I couldn't get any time of yours? I couldn't get you. Um, I couldn't have my dad. I didn't understand that. I still don't understand that. Um, Not long ago, I remember having a conversation with my mom, and I think she thought I was joking, but I was so serious. And I told her, I said, I blame you. I blame you for not making him pay attention to his daughter, for not making him get out of the car and come in the house and speak to me or try to build a relationship with me, because you were too busy satisfying your own needs, for whatever that may be. I didn't, and I hated that. I hated it with a passion. But I held her responsible. I held her more responsible than him because she's my mother. And how do you not realize that this is something that's hurting me? And it wasn't until probably 2 years before he died that he had even met my other two kids. So, let alone to remember their names, you know what I mean? And so I can definitely relate in more ways than one. I think for me, at some point, I would ask God to just give me an understanding. Just tell me why. Just justify it in some sort of way. I just need a justification. Like, was it me? Was it him? Was it him and my mom? Like, what was the issues that caused him to not want to have anything to do with me like he did with the other kids? I never got that answer. But I do know that before he died, I made sure to tell him that I forgave him. And I do forgive him wholeheartedly. I still have those questions to some degree or another, but I've forgiven him. And I think that, with me, with my own kids, having 3 boys, one of the biggest things is that I never wanted to keep my kids away from their dad. Never. And I wanted them to always have their own relationship with him, or their own free range with their dad without me interfering in any sort of way. And I think that that comes from the relationship that I had with my dad. But at the same time, I feel like God gave me the most amazing man in place of my dad. And I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. I mean, there was times when I felt like he was my real dad, when he was only my stepdad, so I got lucky enough to experience what a daddy-daughter love really feels like. And to have that male role model and that male support. I mean, he was my best friend. He was my dad, but he was my best friend at the same time. So I might not have got it with the one I wanted, but I definitely got it with the one that God knew I needed it from. And so it was an experience. It was some life lessons up in there. There was some hard life lessons up in there, trying to understand at such a young age. But I got through it, and you'll get through it too. And it all starts, I think, with forgiveness. Once I forgave him, I think my load got a lot lighter.
I say. I say. Beautiful. 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 Thank you, Kiki.
You're welcome.
So we'll do some healing. Like, there's so much healing in here that's going to be happening. There's so much healing. I want to say this. um, to Talani, I really agree with Kiki what she just said. There's so many reasons why a mom does what a mom does, and um, whether they're right or wrong, you know, when we're becoming moms, we're like 20 something years old, 30 something sometimes. We definitely don't have the wisdom that we have when we're 50 or close to 50. I know with me, um, in terms of getting to know your dad or getting to know your father, um, I know for me, my son has a lot of pain, a lot of hurt surrounding that topic because I was not very open with bringing the two together, but there were uh, some really good reasons, but none of those reasons are good enough for him in terms of understanding it. That that wipes away the pain. The pain is still there, or it lasted for a long time, but to a large degree, he's done a lot of healing around that space. All of that plays a part in your healing. You know, all of it plays a part in healing. So, you know, position yourself to get in the healing posture from not just dad, but also from mom. You know what I mean? Especially, it's a beautiful thing when you have um, parents who are willing to do the work with you. Because a lot of times people don't have their parents around either by they made their transition out or they're not willing or they're not available. Um, so it's a beautiful thing when our parents are around and they're willing to do the work and they're willing to be there for us during the process. So, you know, it's a beautiful thing to be able to have that option afforded to you. So you're like in a beautiful space. You're in a beautiful space, lady, and that healing is going to be wonderful to watch.
And I'm very, very thankful. Like I was telling you when I did the interview, I was like, I had just talked about this is something that I wanted to do. This is something that I was already in motion and in plan. I just didn't know how. So to have it happening now and to see my how happen, it's just like, wow, it's amazing. But it's also like, okay, now you asked for it. You knew it was going to happen. You just didn't know how. So it's here now. Go ahead. And this time, it's easier for me to stick with it. It feels easier to stick with it now. I don't know how to explain it. It just it's a lightening feeling that
I
I
say,
feel.
I say, I say.
Actually, and I was working with him, and he asked me to write a letter. The last time I was with him was he told me to write letters to people. Don't give it to him, but write them for myself. And it was forgiving them, telling them what they did wrong, and then forgiving them. So I did it, and then after that, it just became I ain't going back, and then it became the financial issue where I didn't have it to keep going back. So for me right now, this is wonderful. This is I know this is it, and
Yeah,
I'm thankful.
I say, I say. You know, a lot of times, um, you guys know I had some beautiful conversations with God because all of this work that we do, all this work, all this stuff that I share came from me having so many questions to God and the response that God was giving back, and having this human experience based on the teachings that were given to me, it caused me to have a very external life, meaning looking at things from an external position, which also means that I can blame externally, which means I can harbor anger externally, which means I can harbor ill feelings externally, because it was taught to me as a very external world. But when I started seeking God for myself, I learned that it's a very internal world. It's quite the opposite of what was taught to me. It's an internal world. It's an inside job. So my whole perspective on life shifted. And when it shifted, everything changed for the good. For the good. Every challenge, every problem, every situation is now fixable. It's not anything that people always say, I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. But then they live in the external world and say, well, they did this, and because they did this, this is how it is. What? You don't have any kind of power over someone else, so how can you fix it if you're living externally? I can do all things through Christ that strengthen me. For me means that I have the strength within me in all things, not some things, not most things, all things. I can overcome, I can beat, I can win, I can remove, I can accept, all things. Because it's done inside of me. All things, not some things, all things. Because that all thing is inside of me. I can't fix all things looking at you. I can't fix all things blaming you. Even if it's mom, even if it's dad, even if it's cousin, even if it's sister, even if it's brother. I don't care what the nature of the relationship is. Can't sit in the posture of, I can fix me. And I change the world. And sometimes people get it twisted when they say, I'm going to change the world. I am. I'm going to change the world. But when I say I'm going to change the world, I mean my world. By changing me, the world changes. I can't change the world by coming in and make you think something different. You have your own life, your own right to be who you are supposed to be. Just like I have my right to be who I'm supposed to be. If you look like pain, and you look like disappointment, and you look like danger, and you look like hurt, I have the right to walk away from that. I do. And sometimes danger and hurt and disappointment can have the appearance of, well, I didn't know it was going to happen. Yeah, because nobody showed you how amazing and powerful you and God are. So you don't even understand it. But in this journey, this is the connection between man and God. And the two become one flesh. See, people get married and they get that old two become one flesh stuff. What? God. two become one flesh. That's a marriage between God and I, not you and I. You're going to be you and I'm going to be me. And I seek not to change you from being you. I'm not saying that people can't get married and become so close that they want. I'm just saying, for me, when I hear the two become one, that's a union between God and I. I am one with God, no separation. And I make people uncomfortable because I know that, and I'm okay with that. But this space is about that. I want you guys to know that. This space is about that. Every Master Life coach here understands, understands that we are one with God. And there is no separation. And in that space, all things are possible. That's our journey. So just want to share that with you guys. But we're taking this time for you guys to get to know me and to know the work that I'm presenting, and also for me to know you. It's a two-way thing, because you have to accept me just as much as I have to accept you. That's why I'm doing this, so you guys can see me. See, I sent to help you get to your next place. Am I the one? You know if I am or not. Am I the one that's sent to you? So I'm being open to let you know who I am. I'm not the one that's sitting in there waiting for Jesus to crack the sky. I'm not the one. I said the other day, for me, for me, no man gets to the Father except by me. That means I gotta go through me to get there. Just letting you know who I am. Just letting you know who I am. They taught me that God had to send Jesus down on earth to kill him for my sins. I don't worship a murdering God. I'm letting you know who I am. The God that I have didn't have to kill nobody to make life whole. Just letting you know who I am. He didn't have to bring nobody down here to kill him to save humanity. He's not a murdering God. Not like that. I'm just letting you know who I am. So you can decide whether I'm the person for you. Just like I gotta decide whether you're the person for me. If you're looking for somebody to preach to you about a God who sit in the sky, that ain't me. Waiting to grant your every wish, that ain't me. Who punishes you, that ain't me. I don't have a relationship with that God anymore. I used to, but not anymore. Go ahead, Kathy. I think Kathy was you raising your hand? Go ahead.
I don't know how old you are, honey. I just want to kind of share my story because it's so fitting tonight. I was 28 years old and I met this guy who I thought was like even above me, I think at that time. And I had a lot going on in my life. I mean, I had a good job. I was doing really well, but I was broken because my mom had just passed away. We had a really strange relationship. So I married this man who decided when my daughter was 2 years old that he was going to put a gun in his mouth and try to blow his brains out. And so for a lot of reasons, I had to keep my daughter away from her father growing up. And it hurt me because I struggled with, why would some man, my husband, try to do this to my innocent little daughter? And then I wondered if, like, how it was going to affect her as an adult. And this beautiful little baby right here is 4 months old. And my 28-year-old daughter is now with me because she longed for her dad so much that she married a man exactly like him, a violent man, an abusive man, and a man who could care less about this beautiful little baby. So just be careful. We get to make choices in life. And I'm seeing it go generation. And it was kind of like what I wanted to heal tonight was because there's something I did, I feel, that brought it this far, that I didn't heal in me, that I passed on to my daughter. And I don't want this little baby to suffer. So I don't know if this makes any sense to you at all. I've done a lot of work trying to figure myself out. And I just know that I played a part in all of this. And this beautiful little baby and my beautiful daughter didn't deserve the choice that I made because I wanted to overlook the things I saw in a man because in some ways he was better than me. Like he was financially more stable and he had some things qualities I didn't have that I desired. And I just wanted to be loved because I didn't feel that as a child. And I felt like he could take care of me and like he was going to be the best person, like my savior, my white knight, I called him. I called him my white knight in shining armor. And he turned into a disaster. It was the biggest nightmare it wasn't a fairy tale. It was a nightmare. So just think about it. Just think about your decisions and think about the person and don't be afraid and to look at that like them as a person and whatever you do, don't overlook things just because you want to be loved, because there is someone out there that will love you. And it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't have to be reliving your dad, that experience and that abandonment. And she didn't go crazy, so I'm thankful for that. She let me talk.
Ashe, she's so precious. I saw her picture. Like, look how pretty she is.
I know. My daughter had so much courage because she didn't realize she spent enough time with her dad, but she married her dad, totally. And they still don't have a good relationship, but I thought I shielded her from that, and I didn't. And so, what happens?
Ashe.
Yeah.
Ashe. I love you for sharing that. That was so huge. That was huge for you to do, too.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing it. Yeah, there's so many reasons parents do what we do. And sometimes we can tell you everything, sometimes we can't. But there's always huge reasons why mothers will go to that extent. Yeah. So you needed to hear other mothers that had done the same thing. You needed to hear that. Ashe. Ashe.
I thank everyone for sharing because a lot of the experiences you guys have had, I actually see myself in. And even with my daughter, I think it was Kiki, if I'm not mistaken. I think she had said something about how she allows her kid, her two sons to freely be with them, and that's how I am with my daughter. It's to the point where I don't have her now. Because I'm like, I don't ever want her to feel like her dad's not there or she doesn't have the love from her dad. But I don't know where this is coming from, but now I'm seeing that I'm taking that I'm kind of becoming my dad to her.
Ashe.
Because now I'm my dad in a
Ashe.
sense to her. And I'm seeing it. And I get frustrated when people say things to me like, where's Janiyah? Or why isn't Janiyah with you? I'll get mad at people when they ask me these things. And it's like, she's with her dad. Like, she's okay. Like, I get her. And I get defensive. But now I got to realize I can't do that anymore because I know where that spot has came from. I've identified it.
Ashe.
So I now know that I really have to make changes, and not just the many changes that's easy to make, but the deep changes, so that in my next season I can prosper in a good way and not keep going through the cycle that I've been going through, because it's a very chaotic, dramatic, dysfunctional cycle. And that's not even just with me, that's something that just runs. And it's like, I don't want that running through me anymore. So I thank everyone, because it really helped me to see, even through my technical difficulties with my phone tonight for whatever reason. I'm really thankful. Because I'm getting my answers without having to have somebody preach down my back or give me something that they heard or anything like that. It's something that, as I'm listening to you guys, it's like my inner self, the God in me, is speaking to me and showing me, hey, this is you. Even though you guys saw you and you guys saw me and you, I saw me in some of you guys as well. So I'm really thankful. I'm really, really thankful.
Ashe. You did good tonight, lady.
Thank you.
You did good tonight. I love this space. I love you guys. I love you guys. You guys are doing this. You guys are doing this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Kat. I just can't thank you enough, Kathy. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough, and I can't thank you enough, Talani. Can't thank you enough, and I can't thank you all enough for showing up and doing this and being a part of this and wanting to do this for yourself. Wanting to do this for yourself is beautiful. It's beautiful. So, congratulations, everybody, for listening in. I hope that everyone got something from this. Is there anyone here who didn't get anything from this? If so, just do like this. All right, good. Good. That means we've done excellent work today. We've done excellent work today. So, you guys are going to be, I think it was one more thing that I wanted to share with you. What was it? Okay, I can't remember what it was, but I wanted to really expose myself tonight. So you'll know all of me, and you can make your decisions, because we're going to be making decisions this week about each other. We're going to be making decisions this week about each other. For everyone here, even those who have been notified, as I told you that I started to notify some of the beautiful souls here. People from the Sister Circle should be contacting you all individually really soon, at least by Friday, at least by tomorrow, to get everything finalized and see where you guys are in your take on things. All right. That's it. Does anybody have any questions for me? And it could be a spiritual question. It could be anything, because this is our last night that we meet before we each decide if we are going to be traveling on to the Master Life Coach classes. So is there anybody here who has any questions for me? And it can be a hard question. And I'm not talking about the scholarship program, just anything spiritually or anything mentally that you want to ask. You can. This is our last night together. So are there any questions that you have? You can unmute yourself and ask them.
Hi, Dr. Anu, it's Kiki.
Hey, Kiki.
Hey, so I don't know if it's really a question or if it's just a comment, but like, you know, I told you once before, since going, you know, first listening to you and following the Anu practice, I just kind of started to notice different things changing within me. I guess my thing is now, like, being able to consciously or even unconsciously know when spirit is talking to me. Because sometimes I'll probably mistake it for my own intuition or mistake it for, you know, whatever. But and it could be spirit, and maybe I'm missing it. You know, is that normal? Is that?
Yeah, I love that question. I love that question. And here's how I answer that question. I took at least 2 years, it may have been 4, I can't remember. I know it was at least 2 years though, of recording every time spirit spoke to me. So every time I heard spirit speak to me, I wrote it down. Every time. And each time I heard spirit talk to me, there were certain feelings that went with it. So I recorded when I heard spirit speak, and I recorded also the feeling that I had when I heard spirit speak. And what that did for me was 2 years later, I'm going to say 2, it might have been 4, I think it was 2 though, I got to go look. But at the end of those 2 years, I went back and looked at everything that was spoken. And everything that came to full fruition, I learned that that was divine spirit. Everything that did not come into full fruition or did not work out to my best advantage, I recorded that as my ego or what I desired. And I taught myself the difference so I can know spirit's voice versus my ego or my insecurity or, you know, other attributes of myself. And that's how I learned to distinguish who is speaking. So for those who are, because does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. It's weird because sometimes I'll be doing something or moving throughout the house or driving or whatever, and I'll hear my name. For instance, I'll hear my name plain as day, loud and clear. There's nobody else there, you know, so I know it came from somewhere.
Yeah.
Or, you know, sometimes I may be thinking one thing, like you were saying earlier about the driving. Are you driving and you know that you want to go to, you know, spot A, but for some reason you end up in spot B? It'll be like that for me too. And it's, yeah, I'm just not sure how to navigate it.
You're doing beautiful. I love what you said. You said since I've been in this practice, this stuff has been happening. I hear that all the time, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because it has nothing to do with well, I'm gonna tell you why. Because you are around like-minded people. And because you are now home and around like-minded people, your gifts are going to open up like nobody's business.
Wow.
Because you're home and it's safe and you can be you. So you're going to have all of those gifts that's been sitting in there hiding and waiting to come out. They're going to come out now because you're home.
Yeah, yeah,
They're doing the hallelujah.
yeah. You know, because I have a lot of people I try to talk to about my different types of intuitions or my premonitions or what have you, and they kind of look at me like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, or oh, that's like the devil worship, or and I just, when I get done talking to him, I just be like, wow, you know what I mean? And sometimes it will make you go back and kind of self-check yourself, like, am I really like, but I know I'm not. And I know that we all pose these same gifts and talents to some degree or another, but yeah, like I think that's I know that that'll be one of the things that I'm gonna have to overcome is freely using my gifts, no matter who likes it or not, or speaking the truth regardless of who might like it or not, opposed to what maybe they learned or they were taught growing up. I think about all of that, and so yeah, I know that's going to be a journey in itself.
Yes, and it's going to be an amazing journey.
Yeah.
It's going to be an amazing journey. There's one beautiful soul when she first started, she had a little inkling that she had some special stuff. And then now I can call her and go, what'd you pick up? And she'll be like, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's exactly what I got. Her gifts are like, boom, now.
Yeah.
But she spends a lot of time. Like, she comes here every day. She spends a lot of time in this healing space, in this space. And it's the most amazing thing. So yeah, you're gonna hear your name being called. I remember hearing my name being called, calling my attention.
Yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little scary. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's beautiful. Welcome home. No fear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to meeting you.
Right.
And as we heal, we get rid of so much stuff. And like I said, the first day, we get rid of so many belief systems that keep us from being who we are. The divine is a beautiful energy. And yeah, it speaks to us. And yeah, if you listen closely, you can hear it speaking to somebody else. It does not hide itself. It's not secretive. It doesn't do anything. In the good old days, they call it prophets, depending on who you're talking to. Everybody got a name for it. But everybody has it. God didn't create one person better than the next person. Created us all the same. All the same. So welcome to your gift. Embrace it. Embrace it. I remember when I was little, people used to tell me I was going to hell. Oh, you're going to hell? That's what made me find God, because they kept telling me I was going to hell. Oh, you're going to hell? You shouldn't be able to talk. Oh, you're going to hell? And as a kid, I believed them. I thought I was going to hell. And I thought God didn't love me, because they used to tell me God wouldn't make you like that. The devil made you. And I was like, well, I thought God made everything. Nope, it didn't make you. Can you imagine the trauma of a child? So I said, wherever you made, I said, I remember having a conversation with God. So I can't love you no more than I do. So if you hate me, ain't nothing else I can do for you, Joe. Ain't nothing else I can do. You know, it was a lot of me having a conversation with God to understand. So have the conversation. You know, when you hear that, say, what were you calling me for? I want to know. Talk. What were you calling me for? I want to know. I don't want to miss it. I remember telling the Spirit one day, I don't want to be scared, so don't freak me out. Don't send no little green men to talk to me because I'm going to pass out. If you send the green people to me, I'm going down. I'm going to let you know it's going down. So I gave her some instructions. I said, don't scare me, but I want to know what you want to say to me. And I don't want to be scared. And I was scared of the dark. So I said, don't talk to me in the nighttime. Because if you talk to me in the nighttime, it's just like the green people. It's going down. So talk to me between the hours of 9 to 5. This is real. And guess what? They would talk to me from the hours of 9 to 5. And they would tell me what they meant when they would say certain things. They've taught us so much that we got to go to church and hear the pastor. What? And check this out. Let me say that because I want y'all to know who y'all dealing with. Then they gave you, me and you a book that was 2,000 years old from somebody else's story who wasn't even present. And said, here, that's your life. And then told me don't even go and search inside myself. If it ain't in the Bible, don't do it. If the pastor didn't preach it, don't do it. Screw you. I'm going to the divine myself. How dare you teach me not to talk to God? How dare you? I went straight to God. So when you hear, ask the question. Thank you for talking to me. Thank you. I'm glad that you are talking to me. I want to know more. Tell me why you're talking to me. Tell me who I am. Tell me my purpose. How do you want me to use this gift? Talk to me. Don't be scared. You're talking to people who have gone through the same thing. Ain't that scary on the other side? I tell people all the time, the devil talk to the devil. I'm serious. The devil talk to the devil. So you don't have to be scared of somebody coming in there. What if it's the devil? Are you the devil? Because if you're the devil, you're going to hear the devil. But if you're divine, you're going to hear the divine. You're going to hear the divine. So call for it. God, I'm open. And this is what I did. I said, Spirit, I am open. God, I am open to all that is holy, pure, and divine. Anything that has an evil intention or seeks to destroy me or cause me harm, I do not welcome it. It is not allowed in my space. But all that is holy, pure, and that is for my good and the goods of others, you are welcome in this place. You are welcome in this place. That's what I did. That's what we all can do. Welcome the divine. Yeah, it's good. So welcome home, Kiki. Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? So you never ever leave from beside me. Because I want you. That's from Wendy Wynn. I say. I say. Ah, this space is so sacred. It's so precious. It's so special. And I hope that you guys do the meditation and see if this is where you're supposed to be. Um, and we're going to be contacting each other throughout today and throughout tomorrow. Some of you guys have already been notified. Going to keep notifying everybody else. And because you asked me to notify you, even if you were on the partial scholarship. So everyone will be finding out what scholarship um, they are in and all of that. So I love you guys. If you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to end our live with I love you. Does anybody have any more questions? No questions? Okay. No questions. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How can you forgive someone who has wronged you, or someone who has, like, physically or mentally or emotionally?
Yeah. You know, I think it's Mama J. I'm not sure. No, it's not Mama J. It's Barb, but she's not here. I remember Barb's a master life coach. I remember Barb saying that one day, asking me that question one day, and she said, I keep hearing people say forgiveness is not for them, it's for me. And I don't really understand any of that. And so after about 6 months time, she says, I understand it now. I understand it. How do you forgive them? How do you forgive someone for hurting you? You know, for me, the first thing I did for myself was I identified how it entered into my space. That was the first thing I did, was identify how did that energy get into my space. Because once I identified, because I can say I'm sorry all day long and really not mean it, but it sounds good. But inside, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the I'm sorry, or I'm not getting the I forgive you stuff. Even though I said it, what I found that worked for me was identifying how it got there, understanding how it got to me. And then once I understood how it got to me, I was able to release the feelings that I had towards the person, towards the situation, towards the thing. And it's not easy. And it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't happen in one day. And it takes work to do it. So you have to be willing to do the work to get to it. And it's not easy. But that would be the first step that I would take, is to find the understanding of why it happened. And when I say why it happened, I mean from a spiritual perspective, not from the perspective of the human interaction, but the perspective of the spiritual interaction. Because the human interaction is very chaotic, it's very painful, it stays in specific places and it doesn't move out of different places all the time. But when you go to a deeper space, in that spiritual space, everything happens. It moves. So it's like from my perspective, I don't do it some people call it 3D experience, right? They call it a 3D experience, which I call a human experience. When you're operating from human to human, it's very hard to move pain or even to forgive or even to say I'm sorry when you're moving in the human experience. But when you take it to a different experience and you take it to a spiritual experience, there's a whole different dynamic there. It passes all human understanding. You ever heard that? It passes all human understanding. That's where you got to go to get through the human experience easier, right? Easier. So you have to handle that thing from a spiritual perspective. I remember, I'll share a story with you. I remember, you guys know that this might not make any sense to you now, and it might make sense in a year. But I'm going to share it with you so that as you're doing the work, as we all are doing the work, it will make sense as we do the work. I remember having a conversation with God saying, why did you let me get raped? I want to know that. Like, why? Why did you let me get raped? Why do you let children get hurt? I need to know all of this stuff. Why do you allow this to happen? Because I wouldn't hurt anybody. I don't know if you were here the last time when I said, when I realized I was better than God, I had to say, gee, I can't mess with you because I'm a little better than you. I wouldn't let anybody get hurt. I wouldn't let anybody get raped, molested, killed, shot. I wouldn't do any of that. So I'm a little better than you. I remember saying that to God. What I learned, no, I don't want to tell you what I learned because I want you to get it for yourself because it's more powerful for when you get it for yourself. So let me ask you the question and don't answer it today. Who is God? Who is God? I know that we're talking about forgiveness, but this is how we get to it. Who is God? Is God everything? Is God some things? Is God most things? Who is God? Is a huge question. So entertain that question for a little while. Forget the offense. Forget what happened. Forget the trauma just for a second. And go to the understanding of who is God, or who is the divine, or who is the creator of all things. Some people call it God. Some people call it all kinds of stuff. Whatever it is you call it, what is it? Get to the core of what it is. Do you call it God?
Yes.
Ask the question, who is God? And don't just ask it to yourself. Ask God, who are you? Who are you? Who is God? And give yourself permission to listen for that. That's going to be huge in the healing process, in the forgiveness process. Yeah, it'll be, because we're entertaining this journey together. What I've learned about the journey is, from my own personal experience, is that some of those sacred questions, yes, we can hear the answer from some beautiful people, but some of those questions that we ask, we need to hear it from the divine. We need the divine to show up and give us that understanding. I remember my master teacher, I would say, well, you got to answer this, give me the answer. And he would say, nope, And I say, well, you know the answer. Just give me the answer. And he go, nope. And then a week later, I call him. I go, you know what Spirit told me? And I got the answer. And he would say, now, which one you think feel better? The one I told you or the one Spirit told you? And I went, I know, the one Spirit told me. Because once the Spirit tells you, can't nobody take it away. I tell it to you, it can be taken away. Spirit tell it to you, can't nobody take your experience. And because I know the journey is to heal, I'm not interested in it being taken away from you. I'm interested in it being from within you and it being yours. Does that make sense?
A little bit.
When you say, how do you forgive? When you try it on a human perspective, has it worked?
No.
I say. So, is it something that you desire?
Yeah.
Then it means it's somewhere else you gotta go to get it. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I say. When you go to your highest self or God or the divine, do you agree that that place exists?
Yeah.
When you think about the divine, how do you like it? Do you like it when someone teaches you about the divine, or do you like it when the divine brings it up inside of you?
I like both.
Which one do you like best?
Yes. I'm not sure.
Okay, this is wonderful. If I teach you about God, have you had anyone teach you about God?
Yes.
I said, did you believe everything they taught you?
Initially, I did, and then I started doing my own research.
I
But
said,
initially, I did.
I said, when you started to do the research, something inside of you made you do that research, right?
Yes.
A hunger or a want to know.
Yes.
That hunger or that want to know was bigger than someone teaching you. Yes?
Yes.
Which one did you follow? The hunger and want to know, or the one that was teaching you?
The hunger.
Which one you like best?
The hunger.
I say. So what I'm saying to you is, I love you so much because I got your message. And I thought it was the most amazing thing. And I love the question. But I know that you are being taught internally. And this place is deep for you. So to tell you the answer is not as powerful as the hunger that's going to drive you to the answer. Does that make sense? So I want to guide you by questions to get you there, because this is major for you. This is your breakthrough. This is your breakthrough that was getting ready to happen. And it's not mine to give to you. It's yours to give to you. Sometimes when someone asks a question, I'll go right to it and give the answer because it's not a major breakthrough for them. And it's okay to give the answer. But in this case, this is your breakthrough. Right now, what you're getting ready to get is your freedom. You're going for your breakthrough.
I've been wanting to.
Yeah. You get ready to get it. And you're going to pull it from yourself. The divine is going to give it to you. See, this is the beautiful thing. Hear me, Harriet. I said that right, right?
Yes.
Hear me, Harriet. The divine gets all the credit. The divine gets all the credit. And because that is true, the way that the divine gets all the credit is because the divine is what gave it to you. Now, the divine can give it to you through someone who's talking. The divine can give it to you through an event, through a experience. And then there are times where the divine gives it to you through you. Hold on. I'm in this space. I'm sorry. I have to state that differently. I talk based on the spaces I'm in. Let me retract that. The divine always gives it to you. It's confirmed outside of you. Okay? But what's happening is this is so big, this is so huge for you. It hasn't already been answered inside. So you don't need confirmation. Right now, you need the answer. So the divine is going to pull that answer up for you. Now, when it pulls it up for you, I'll be right here to confirm it. But you're going for your freedom right now. You're not going for something small. This thing that you're going for has had you captive for quite a while. And its time is up. Its time is up. And you are the one who's making it go. So it has to come from you. So we're going to do the work to get there. It's not easy. There's nothing easy about it. It's work to get there. But we're going to do the work to get there. So the first step to the work is to ask, who are you? Who are you, God? Because you can't understand anything without an understanding of that which created everything. That's why when I came up here, I said, I want y'all to know me. I'm going to tell you my truth so you'll know me. Because once you know me, you'll know, oh, okay, I want to listen to that crazy lady, or I do want to listen to that. You'll know. You have the facts before you to make an informed decision. You can't say I'm crazy if you don't know me. You can't say I'm not crazy if you don't know me. You can't understand why I said something if you don't know me. It's the same thing with God. You can't understand anything that God has done if you don't know God. You can't. So that's why the first question is, who are you? Who are you? Because from that place, all healing comes. So the first question is, who is God? And you're going to teach yourself in that question, is God good? Is God bad? Is God everything? Is God some things? Is God most things? Find your answer to that. That's the first step of forgiveness. It's hard to forgive what you don't understand. Do you agree?
Yes.
So we have to get understanding. God is a God of understanding. So we got to start out with who is God first. Now I'm gonna share this story. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No. I guess I'll figure it out.
Tell me why you don't understand it.
Because you said I have to, because you said I may not be saying it right, I'm paraphrasing, but you said that, once you ask God who he is, then you'll be able to forgive. So that's the part that I don't understand.
Once you can you forgive without understanding?
I don't know.
Do you understand what happened to you?
No.
Would you like to understand what happened to you?
Yes. Yes.
So let's go for the understanding.
Okay.
How would you get to understand what happened to you? In your life, who has that?
The person that did it?
Who else? Who has complete understanding of everything that happens in your life?
God.
So if you need to get understanding of something, who would it come from?
God.
So where do we have to start?
Oh, with God.
Ashe. Ashe. So if we have to start with God, we have to first know who God is. Do you agree?
Yes.
So let's go find out who God is. Make sense now?
Yes.
Ashe. Ashe. If it was as easy as waking up to forgive, you'd already done that, right? So let's go through the process. Let's go through the process. Yeah. And then it will forever be with you. Ashe. So find out who God is. Ask yourself that question this week. Ask yourself, is God everything? Is God some things? Is God most things? Is God kind of this, kind of that? Is God everywhere? Is God some places and not all places? Like, ask yourself those questions. Get those answers. Don't ask another person. Ask that within yourself. Ask that within yourself. Do you believe that God would not answer you?
I don't know.
That's huge. That's huge. Why would God not answer you?
It seems like he hasn't in the past.
I love you. You're doing so good. You're doing so good. Do you believe that God answers everybody else?
I don't know.
Ashe. Would you like God to answer you every time you ask the question?
Yes.
I should. I love that. So, do you think that God would provide that option for you?
I don't know.
I should. Do you love God? And
Yeah,
be honest.
I do.
How could you love God when God would leave you and not provide a way for you to contact him or her and get an answer?
Because he does so many other things for me. Oh, you are good. What I was about to say was he does so many other things for me, and so I forgave him for not responding every single time. You are really good.
I am. But I'm sent to the best, so you are really good too.
Oh
I say, beautiful realization. Beautiful.
man, that was good.
Yeah. I say, do you believe that there's a such? Would you like to experience God answering when you call?
Yes.
So let's do the work to get that. How do we get that? Is we have to find out where that God is. So let's locate him or her. So ask the question, who is God? Or ask anybody else, just you, and write down your answer. Okay. We'll talk about it next week on the Who is God class. Give yourself permission to hear it from within, not from nobody else. You did good today. You did good today. Thank you, lady. Thank you. All right. So we are going to end this session, in this time. You guys, all of you guys did amazing. You guys did amazing. But I always say, I am sent to the best. I'm sent to the best. I'm sent to the most amazing people and the most powerful people on the planet. And it is an honor to work with you guys. You did amazing work today. Amazing work today. Amazing work today. So, I love you guys, and I'm going to be sending, like I said earlier, I'm going to be finishing up all of these scholarships by Friday. You're going to hear from us, and I hope that you guys are really loving this space, because I'm really loving this space with you guys. And we're going to do a lot of healing. We're going to do a lot of work together. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you. I always send you guys the invitation to the Grand Rising. You don't have to come. It's not anything that's mandatory. I just always send it in case you guys aren't busy and you want to join us. I always just send you the link. And there's Barb. I see Barb on Facebook. I was just talking about you, Barb. I send the invitation just in case you guys aren't busy. You can join in and talk with us. So other than that, I love you so much. Thank you for showing up in my life. Thank you so much. And I'm going to end our live. And I always do a countdown. Nobody has any other questions? I always do a countdown.